Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are ignited by Athlinks. We are at the Blueprint for Athletes, Leadville 100 mountain bike race, legendary. We're also at the Tabor Opera House, open 1879. Harry Houdini, John Philip Sousa, Oscar Wilde, Jack Dempsey have all been in here. But none of those is as important as the Queen of Pain, the four-time champion, Rebecca Rusch.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Banjo James, for bringing us in. Rebecca, how the heck are you?
I'm great. Actually, I'm really ready to start riding my bicycle.
Yeah. Four-time champion. You remember the first time you came here?
Absolutely. I remember every year. Every year is super memorable.
Yeah.
This race kind of grabs you. But yeah, the first year as a total rookie, I'd never seen 1 inch of the course, didn't know anything about it. I had a course profile taped to my top tube.
So wait,
total
you
rookie.
raced it the first time without even riding any of it?
Never hadn't ridden 1 inch of the trail my first time. Totally green. So it was pretty awesome.
And you did okay?
I did okay. I won the women's field.
You won, and you had no clue.
I had no clue. They were making a film. It's the year Lance Armstrong was here, and so I was sort of swooped up into this melee. Nobody knew who I was.
Right.
You know, adventure racer, not really a mountain bike racer yet. And I came in, and they're like, "Who's this person winning the women's field?" So, and for me, 100 miles was super short.
Yeah, because you were an adventure person
Absolutely.
who did Borneo and those races across Madagascar and all that type of stuff. So those are 8 days.
Yeah.
100 miles, we're talking
Less than 8 hours, you know.
It's a chiclet. It's
totally.
no big deal. not a problem at all.
It was a big deal, but it was definitely short for me.
Yeah, it was an appetizer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you win that thing, and like you said, your background, you've done adventure racing, whitewater rafting, you've done so much. When you were a kid, did you have sports? You must have just played everything.
I was a tomboy for sure.
Yeah.
I played in the backyard. I camped out, you know, in our little tiny backyard all the time and come in for breakfast, those kind of things. Total tomboy. Always had, you know, skinned knees and skinned elbows. And I didn't really find formal sports until high school. I joined the cross-country running team.
Yeah.
And so running was really my first sport. And since then, I've been rock climbing, kayaking, and mountain biking really is... I started mountain bike racing at age 38. So it's...
Really? You didn't start that till that late? I didn't realize
Exactly.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
When you won this race, did you realize that this was going to be special for you? That this was
I
place?
had no idea. When I won this race, it really did launch my mountain biking career.
Yeah.
I was already 3-time 24-hour world champion
You won
in
6
mountain
world
biking.
champions.
So yeah, I had already had some mountain biking credentials, but all of those were really small potatoes compared to the level that Leadville elevated me. I mean,
Right.
just the exposure, how big this race is, and then to be able to come back and win 4 times in a row, you know, talk about pressure.
Yeah.
But it really did relaunch a whole career for me. And so I'm really grateful I found this race, because it's a blast, but it was the right time, a good transition time for me.
Coming back as defending champion is always a little different. You're under the radar when you went the first time, but then all of a sudden there's this bullseye on your back, and everybody's coming after you. And the women's field has gotten better and better and better. How did you deal with that?
Man, you know, well, I dealt with the pressure. There was definitely a lot of pressure, and sponsors started really caring about this race, and everything was kind of elevating. And, you know, I hadn't really felt that kind of pressure as an athlete before. And so the way that I dealt with it is I got a coach for the first time ever. Which was amazing. I started training with power. I started getting smarter. You know, even though I was getting older, I was getting faster because I actually learned how to train. I learned how to train my body, and then I studied the course, and I got to know the course, the places where I could go fast.
Right.
And so I got smarter, not necessarily faster, but my times progressively got faster and faster, and it was really cool.
When you look at this from a mountain biker perspective, the first 5-6 miles are a downhill, cold weather, right? It's 30 degrees, 6:30 in the morning. You're going downhill at 35 miles an hour on a road before you get to the trail. So there's a lot of fire road, a lot of climbing. This race, it seems like it has everything, especially when you toss in all the weather.
It really is. I feel like this course, what I like, it doesn't suit any one type of rider. You've got to have road tactics and road skills to be able to ride in a pack.
Because you can, there's pack riding here, right?
Yeah, there absolutely can be drafting advantages. And then that first 5 miles, like you said, is, 2,000 people packed into a peloton. A lot of mountain bikers are not used to that, including me.
Yeah.
So there's road tactics. There's also extreme climbing. So you got to be a good climber. But then there also, 50% of the race is on these big power flats. So if you're not a powerful climber or a powerful flat rider, you're gonna hurt there. And so it really doesn't suit any one type of rider. I think it really suits kind of
Versatile.
anybody. You have to be versatile, and you have to be good at everything, and you got to be able to go the long haul. I think at above 10,000 feet, things like nutrition and everything changes a little bit. Hydration changes. And so if people can't nail the altitude, that's where a lot of really, really good athletes who've come here in the past have struggled. And so I'm really excited to see the women's field this year, because there are some roadies, triathletes, World Cup mountain bike racers. There's a really exciting roster on the women's field this year.
And you've got a 3-time champion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is it 2 or 3?
Let's see. It's either 2. Maybe she's
I think
going
it's
for
2.
She's going for
She's
third.
going
for a third in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
2-time.
And now you've got someone like Julie Dibbins coming over from triathlon.
Yeah.
That's sort of nice when you get the mix of athletes coming here.
It's really cool, and it shows that, like you were saying, this course is versatile, and it does suit a lot of different types of riders. Mountain bikers, triathletes, roadies can all kind of come together and go head-to-head on this course.
Yeah, Sally's going for third in a row, and she's 7:23 last year, but her course is record 7:17.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you're doing this year, because you're not racing with the top gals this year. You're doing something that's a little more, you're giving back. You're riding with folks who can really use the support.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited this year. I actually reached out to a group called Phoenix Patriot Foundation. It's a veterans recovery group, and they have a cycling program. And every year I've seen these athletes riding. They've got some amputees. They've got a lot of veterans who do the Leadville 100 and target it as their goal. And I've seen them around. So I called them up. I asked them. I said, hey, I would really like to offer, my skill set and help you guys this year. And can I race with you? So I asked permission. Could I race with you?
Can I race with you? Excuse me, I'm a 4-time champion. Can I come and race with you?
Well, I got teamed up with Matt DeWitt, he's going for his 3rd time. And when we were at a group dinner last night, I sort of asked the guys, I'm like, so how'd you decide who was going to ride? I was going to get to ride with. And Matt he said, well, I was the only one who said no. So I got paired up with you.
Why'd he say no?
I think he might be a little bit
Scared?
nervous. He's going for 11-hour time. And yeah, I think maybe he's afraid I might push him too hard, but it's his race. I'm going to basically be support, do whatever he needs out there on course and offer my skills. And I know his long-term goal is to try to break 9. And so this is a stepping stone for him to start educating himself and getting better on the course.
You're going to spend more time on this course than you ever have.
I am. I'm going to start right near the back.
And you're going to have to fuel yourself differently when you're talking about being out there possibly for more than 10 hours or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I have my race plan, my normal race plan really dialed. I know exactly, my husband crews for me and we have it dialed. This is going to be quite different. We're going to stop at aid stations, fill camelbacks. And so I was thinking about all my gear today and just like making my race bags going, okay, put a few more things in, put an extra jacket in, because I don't want to be the one that slows Matt down. I have to make sure that I'm ready.
That's some pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being on a relay team. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I got to go fast. I don't want to let the other guys down.
Yeah, and I don't want to flat. I don't want to be the one, that holds his race up. And so yeah, I'm planning to be on course longer, but I'm super excited to actually be really in the mix of this race and really in with the regular people, with everybody. I think it's going to be super fun.
The other thing that you've been very instrumental in has been the growth of female participation in not just mountain biking, but in all endurance sports. Talk a little bit about your SRAM Gold Rush Tour, and you've been doing these things around the country and getting women on mountain bikes for the very first time.
Absolutely. Well, like I told you, I came to mountain biking at age 38.
Yeah.
So quite late, and I was really intimidated. And even as a pro-sponsored rider, I was intimidated to go into the SRAM booth. It was at Sea Otter one year, and I needed some help. As a pro, and I was kind of, because I didn't know a lot about my gear, and I was intimidated. So I went to the SRAM guys and said, you know what, if I'm feeling this, other people are feeling this. And so it was kind of good that I was sort of a late starter, because I can really understand what it's like to be a beginner. Yeah. And so I decided, you know what, if I'm feeling this, I'm going to open the doors up, take the barriers away. And the barriers for mountain biking a lot of times are you don't understand the equipment or the skill. You think it's going to be like Red Bull Rampage and you're going to be hucking your body off the cliffs. And so the SRAM Gold Rush Tour, it really just is education, and it flings the door open. I like to bring in other female pros to give them exposure. I like to bring in female media in the cycling industry to give them exposure. Yep. Really just to kind of keep the spider web going. And it's been really cool. Years later, we're in our 5th year of the SRAM Gold Rush, and it's every age, from kids to moms to grandmas. And I see people now coming back to me saying, oh, I taught my daughter to ride, or, oh, I started my own club. And I love that kind of stuff. It's awesome. It's why we're here. And then Leadville, coming and seeing this year how strong the women's field is, and people who heard about the race maybe because of me, that makes me really happy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Rebecca Rusch has been our guest. Hey, and where did the Queen of Pain come from?
That was a nickname given to me in my adventure racing days. Years ago, it was on the cover of a magazine, and somebody else gave it to me, and it just stuck.
It just stuck.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Thank
the
you.
Queen of Pain, Rebecca Rusch, is with us again. This is the Blueprint for Athletes, Leadville 100 mountain bike race. We are ignited by Athlinks. This is Breakfast with Bob, and this is Banjo James taking us out.
That's awesome.
Thank you, James.